Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, we're diving into a true American classic, a dessert that's the star of every holiday table, the perfect pecan pie. Forget everything you think you know about pecan pie being too sweet or too complicated. I'm going to show you how to make a version that is absolutely foolproof, with that signature gooey, caramelly filling, and a perfectly crunchy pecan topping. It's rich, it's decadent, and it's surprisingly easy to whip up. By the end of this video, you'll have the confidence to make this showstopper for your next family gathering, Thanksgiving dinner, or just because you deserve a treat. So, grab your apron and let's get baking. First things first, let's talk about our ingredients. Simplicity is key to a great pecan pie. For the filling, you'll need 1 cup of light corn syrup, 1 cup of packed light brown sugar, 3 large eggs, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, melted and slightly cooled, a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and just a pinch of salt to balance all that sweetness. En of course, the star of the show about your 1.5 cups of pecan halves. For the crust, you can absolutely use a store-bought 9-inch pie crust to save time. There's no shame in that game. But if you want to go the extra mile, I have a fantastic all-butter pie crust recipe linked in the description below. A homemade crust really does take it to the next level. All right, let's start with the crust. If you're using a store-bought crust, just unroll it and gently press it into your 9-inch pie pan. If you've made your own, roll it out and fit it into the pan. Now, crimp the edges however you like. You can use a fork, your fingers, or any fancy technique you prefer. The most important step here is to par-bake, or blind bake, the crust. This prevents it from getting soggy once we pour in that liquid filling. Prick the bottom of the crust with a fork a few times. Line it with parchment paper and fill it with pie weights or even just dried beans. We're going to bake this at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius for about 15 minutes. Then, carefully remove the weights and parchment paper and bake for another 5 minutes until it's just lightly golden. Set it aside to cool while we make our glorious filling. Now, for the best part, that incredible pecan filling. This comes together in just one bowl, which is another reason I love this recipe so much. In a large bowl, whisk together the corn syrup and the brown sugar until they're well combined. Make sure you break up any clumps in the brown sugar. Next, crack in your 3 large eggs and whisk them in until the mixture is smooth. We're not trying to whip a ton of air into it. Just get everything nicely incorporated. Pour in your melted butter and vanilla extract, and that little pinch of salt. Whisk it all together one last time. You should have a beautiful, glossy, caramel-colored liquid. This is the magic potion that transforms into that gooey, delicious filling in the oven. It smells amazing already, doesn't it? It's time to bring in the pecans. You can use whole pecan halves or roughly chopped pieces. It's really a matter of personal preference. I like to use a mix. I'll stir about half of my pecans, roughly chopped, directly into the filling mixture. This ensures that you get nutty goodness in every single bite, not just on the top. The other half, the beautiful whole pecan halves, I'll save for arranging on top. This gives your pie that classic, professional look. So, go ahead and stir your chopped pecans into the filling. Now, pour this entire glorious mixture into your cooled, par-baked pie crust. Just look at that. It should fill the crust almost to the top. Now for the decorative topping. This is where you can get a little artistic. Take your remaining pecan halves and arrange them on top of the filling in any pattern you like. The classic way is to arrange them in concentric circles, starting from the outside and working your way in. This not only looks stunning, but also ensures a nice, even layer of crunchy, toasted pecans on top. As the pie bakes, The pecans on top will rise slightly and get beautifully toasted, while the ones inside stay soft and suspended in that gooey filling. Take your time. With this step, it is the finishing touch that makes your pie look as good as it tastes. Once you're happy with your design, we're ready for the oven. Okay, our pie is assembled and looking gorgeous. Let's talk about baking. We're going to bake this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or 175 Celsius. Place the pie on a baking sheet to catch any potential drips, which makes cleanup so much easier. Pop it into the preheated oven for about 50 to 60 minutes. The baking time can vary depending on your oven, so how do you know when it's done? The edges of the filling should look set and puffed up, but the center should still have a slight jiggle to it, kind of like gelatin. If you shake it gently, it shouldn't be sloshing around like liquid, but it shouldn't be rock solid either. That little jiggle is perfect. It means the filling will set up beautifully as it cools. Another great tip is to check for doneness with an instant read thermometer. The internal temperature of the filling should be around 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius. If you find the crust or the pecans on top are getting to brown before the filling is set, you can loosely tent the pie with a piece of aluminum foil for the remainder of the baking time. This is a great trick to prevent burning. Once it's done, carefully take it out of the oven. The smell that will fill your kitchen is just out of this world sweet, nutty, and buttery. It's the smell of pure comfort. Now comes the hardest part of the entire recipe, waiting for the pie to cool. You absolutely must let the pie cool completely on a wire rack. Now, tempting to let slice and warm my beauty few though, the filling will just everywhere. It needs at least 2-3 hours at room temperature to fully set up. Patience is a virtue, especially in pie making. As it cools, that jiggly center will firm up into the perfect, sliceable, custardy texture we all love. This cooling process is non-negotiable for a clean slice. Once it's completely cooled, you can store it at room temperature for a day or in the refrigerator for longer. And there you have it. A perfect, classic pecan pie that is sure to wow everyone. Look at that gorgeous, glossy top, the flaky crust, and that rich, decadent filling. Let's cut a slice so you can see the inside. See how cleanly that cuts? The filling is perfectly set, but still has that wonderful gooey texture. And the crunch from the toasted pecans on top is the perfect contrast. This pie is best served at room temperature or slightly chilled. You can serve it on its own, which is my favorite way, or with a dollop of unsweetened whipped cream or a scoop of vanilla ice cream to cut through the richness. Every bite is a perfect balance of sweet, nutty, and buttery flavors. It truly is the ultimate holiday dessert. I really hope you give this classic pecan pie recipe a try. It's one of my all-time favorites, and it's so much easier to make than you might think. Don't be intimidated. Just follow the steps. Be patient during the cooling, and you'll have a dessert that your friends and family will be talking about for years to come. All the exact measurements and instructions are in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more classic baking recipes, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you try the recipe. Thanks so much for baking with me today. See you in the next video.